Hello, 2 weeks later, and we're back. I think it's been 2 weeks. And I figured that I would get on here and talk a little bit about what is happening in the United States right now. It is June 26th, 2022 today. And just, we're breathing. There is so much concern in the world right now. So many people are freaking out for many reasons, all completely valid. And I want to talk about it. I want to talk specifically about autonomy and sovereignty and how each and every one of us has that. However, not every one of us claims it. A lot of people have given their autonomy and sovereignty away. They have consented. They have understood and abided by whatever laws and rights and rules have been prescribed by some umbrella of people who want to call some big shots in the world. And it is obviously not super cut and dry. However, it is 1,000,000 trillion billion % real that nobody has any overall say over another being. I'm wanting to just organize my thoughts for a moment. So here I am in this room recording a video because I chose to. I called that shot. I was the one with the idea. I was the one who gave the permission. I was the one who put my phone on a tripod and hit record. Nobody else could do that for me. I'm the one who chooses what I drink, what I eat, what I put on my skin. Nobody else can do that or choose that for me. I'm gonna go into a little bit of a storytelling mode. So when I was 18 years old, I had this insane realization. I started meditating because I was very suicidal, honestly, and I was so over medication. I was never about the medication. However, I gave my power to others for them to tell me what I needed. When throughout all of that, I was like, but this isn't what I need. But I was so confused, and I was so young and so vulnerable, and was brought up in the same system that pretty much all of us were brought up in, because it's more or less a global thing, right? And so from a really young age, I didn't realize that I was the one in power, that it was up to me to choose in every single moment what was a yes for me, what was a no for me. And of course, when we're children, it is a lot less cut and dry because we have our guardians, our parents. And ultimately, we really believe that they know what is best for us. And not to in any way say like don't listen to your parents, because they really do have so much experiential knowledge and wisdom to bestow on us as children. And then of course there's the situations that have very much to do with just this common topic subject that's circulating right now of like parents who become parents, maybe not because they wanted to, but because they felt that they had to. Whether it was that their loved ones were like, you have to have a baby, like you got pregnant, you gotta have the baby, like what are you gonna do? Get rid of it? How could you? Right? That's really, really common. And that absolutely can affect the parenting type, right? How the parent actually parents, how the guardian actually guards. And also, if you have a parent who maybe was like highly traumatized in their life coming of age and in their upbringing and up into adulthood, and you know, like trauma is also so freaking common. And a lot of the times you want to like brush the word trauma under the carpet. Like we don't say trauma unless it's like really extreme, but no, that's not the case. What has been learned and studied over quite a significant amount of time is the sensitivity of the entire body, the entire nervous system is so sensitive. A loud sound can traumatize you. It is really that simple. You know, many loud sounds constantly happening, you could be desensitized. So you think, however, your nervous system is still responding. So if you have an adult who was traumatized, which most adults were traumatized at one point or another, you know, and they haven't worked through that trauma, they haven't cleared their nervous system of all of that electricity and information, then it is still living inside of them, and it is absolutely going to come out in any interaction, especially in parenting. So we want to avoid that, obviously. We want a healthy society. We want healthy humanity. We want a beautiful life on earth. And one of the most important things to learn as soon as possible is that like you are the authority of your own life. My mind is wanting to go into like all the what if case scenarios, right? And they definitely exist. There are moments when you feel like you don't have a choice. But even within that moment, there is a choice. And that choice can be just how you respond to you seeming to have no choice, right? Do you get really upset? Are you like, okay, I seem to have little choices, I'm gonna remain calm? Like that right there is a choice in itself of how do you respond to the scenario. A really simple solution when you're like putting yourself into this world of like, it's up to me. I know right from wrong. I personally don't really check in like, is this right or is this wrong? I'm like, is this righteous? That's it. That is where I am calibrating from. If it's righteous, I'm all good. I never needed to ask anyone's permission because I know that it's righteous. I know that it's all okay, right? Like, even if something that I don't think is supposed to happen happens, because I knew well within me from the get-go that it was and is righteous, then even the ripple effects of it are also that. We get to choose if we're going to go out, if we're going to go party, if we're going to stay home, if we're going to be in a monogamous relationship, if we're going to explore multiple lovers, if we're going to wear makeup, if we're going to not wear makeup, if we're going to wear underwear, if we're not going to wear underwear, shoes, socks, brushing our hair, brushing our teeth. Like, you get it, right? Like, every little thing you do is up to you. And you have to know that. You have to own that. Because if you seem questioning, if you seem vulnerable, then those certain umbrella people that want to make all the big shots and call the big shots and everything, they are kind of like dogs that are like aware of when a person is afraid walking by and know how to take advantage of that. So if you seem vulnerable enough to manipulate, you're probably going to be manipulated. Or maybe you come off as vulnerable and someone thinks they can manipulate you and you're like, actually, you can't manipulate me. So the less that we, the people of this planet, living in God's law, not man's law, we live within the laws of creation, we have the power. We get to reclaim our power because it has been seemed to be taken away from us for a good amount of time, like generations and generations, right? And say you're brought up in a household that is like, you have to follow the law, and they're constantly telling you that, and you're a little kid and you're just like, well, I'm going to listen to my guardians because they're the ones who know what's best for me, and they tell me that I have to listen to this law, even though really deep down inside of me I feel like it's not righteous. Then that can cause a little bit of a like rip in your sense of autonomy. But it's never too late to begin the reclamation of it. And especially when it comes to intimate relationships. So we're like applying that we get to choose who we share ourselves with, just like we get to choose when we eat, what we drink, how much of whatever we're eating or drinking, and all the little things throughout the day that we get to choose. We also get to choose who we engage with, what businesses we go to, who we give our money to, money being a representative, really, of an exchange of life force energy that was once done and has been completed, and now you've got this money to represent that you did an energy exchange, and then that money can go exchange someplace else for other sources, resources, goods, services, whatever it is, right? We always get to choose. Say something happens to you that you feel like you didn't have a choice in. Going back to the same topic of, body rights, especially with women, because obviously those are the ones that are seeming to be like the most vulnerable, so the easiest to manipulate. And it's so not accurate. Like, we'll start to connect more, and y'all are gonna start to see more like where I'm coming from. But nonetheless, Say you are in a scenario where you seem to have no choice. Like a man comes to you, maybe 7 men come to you, and all of them decide that they're going to just do whatever they want to do with your body, and you're just one woman and you're by yourself. And that literally is absolutely not okay, and also very common. And then say from that experience, said woman is impregnated. And then what? And then she from there still has no choice? Absolutely not. Maybe you aren't supported directly by those around you or your local government, which that word we'll get into, but not today. Or maybe we will, probably not though. But you feel unsupported in the choice that you want to make. And so because you don't feel that support is like a foundation. You don't feel like there's a foundation beneath you in order to follow through with the choice that you do want to make. So from there, you have a choice still to outsource support from others that you know. Maybe you don't know them, but you know they exist and you know that they're willing to support you. It could be like a nonprofit organization, whatever. All of this stuff is, to me, just so unnecessary if we were living in a different scenario. The scenario that we're in, to me, also feels unnecessary. I'm like, do we need to be doing this right now? Is this really what we need to be doing? No, what we need to be doing is like repairing our infrastructure system and upgrading how we go about building highways and skyscrapers and all that stuff. And agriculture, how agriculture is being approached industrially. To me, that's what we need to be doing. And it's just like left and right, there's something to distract the masses from coming together on one group project. That was a little bit of a tangent. We are in this situation right now. We being, part of me is like, not me, I'm not in the situation. And I'm like, kind of not. But also I'm like here and I'm aware of it and I'm here to support whoever I can, however I can, in reclaiming their autonomy and their sovereignty. I feel like this is not like a very succinct video message. However, I don't know that it can be succinct. There's so many loose ends. Like, it's a mess out there. The system that they think they're running is a mess. We're not happy. We being me, there's at least 2 of us. However ridiculous and unnecessary this situation seems to be, we still have each other. There are so many people coming together that recognize that they are sovereign, that they are autonomous, that they get to call the shots. Like we, they, me, we are here for you if you are feeling like you don't have sovereignty, if you don't feel like you have autonomy, or if you know that you have it, but you are surrounded by people who are still trying to convince you otherwise. I'm looking for like a full circle feeling so that I'm like, I'm closing the conversation. I'm not closing the conversation. The conversation is open. Yeah, but there are boundaries. Like, I don't think that anyone's gonna try and like fly at me with some whack shit, but just in case they do, no. It's not welcome here. So I'm really not concerned about that. I'm concerned about women being afraid that they have no choice. I'm not concerned about all the people who think that they get to call the shots for us. I'm not concerned about them because they don't. They think that they do. And they just really don't. And again, there's like all the what if scenarios of like, well, what about this? And I know for generations, like coming onto like centuries, for centuries, the people have given their power away. And it can be really, really convincing that there's no way we can get it back. But there really is. So I know that there are resources for women in need of like a plane ticket to another state to go do the thing if they need to do the thing. I think for me, ultimately, if there was like a single message that I want to get across, it is to choose wisely as you can in every moment. Start listening to those pings and pangs in your body that say, no, don't go there. Doesn't matter if all my friends want me to be there. It doesn't feel right for me, so I'm gonna say no. Choose to honor that as often as you can. And a really great and easy way to practice is like when your body is like, I'm thirsty, I want water, get up and get some water. When your body is hungry, get up and feed it. And don't just like feed it maybe like something random that might be easy. Of course we want it to be easy, but maybe also check in and be like, okay, body's hungry. What is going to be most nourishing for it right now out of whatever I have access to? Excuse me. So you can check in like, body, do you want some fruit? You want some veggies? You want something cooked? You want something fresh and raw? You know, just really practice tuning in and listening to the most basic cues that your body does give you. And then from there, it will just become clearer and clearer. Like, no, I'm not supposed to go there. I'm supposed to go there. I'm supposed to talk to that person. I have to stay away from them. It's all inside of you. All the answers are constantly being provided from within. And we just need to reacquaint ourselves with that internal communication. Because for so long, we have asked from the outside. Is this okay? Am I allowed to do this? Am I supposed to do this? The outside can reflect wisdom and knowledge, and it is absolutely always inside of you. And hopefully, if you apply this to your life, you know, we will stay out of scenarios that are not meant for us, right? Because it's when we disregard our intuition that we tend to get into situations that we probably aren't supposed to be getting into. that feels like it's coming to like a full circle completion feel for me. I definitely don't have all the answers. I think I have some. Pretty sure I've got some insight, and I am also still learning. And I really want to share as much as I can what I feel I have already learned that has served me so much in just being who I am today, which is like unapologetic, not asking for permission. Sometimes I feel a little bit insecure. Sometimes I'm like, hey, do you think that it's okay if I do this? I absolutely do that. I still sometimes look for answers outside of me and feedback from my people, because my people are also so clear that I really, really trust their feedback. And still, when they give it to me, I can decipher what's meant for me and what's not. They can give me feedback. I might ask for feedback, and then I might be like, that actually doesn't really feel like right for me. So thank you for the feedback. I'm taking it in. I might not apply it. I'm still happy to receive it. Boundaries. That's another really big one. Boundaries are so important. And a lot of the times we have to practice them with ourselves first. Honestly, I think for most people right now, the biggest boundaries that need to be set are with our devices, like our phones, and mostly phones, because it's not like anyone's like just carrying their laptop like in front of them all day, like scrolling constantly. It's more of like the phone thing. So that's a great place to start setting boundaries, especially like social boundaries. Maybe just limiting your screen time. There's so many ways to go about it. But I think that one of the biggest reasons why right now a lot of people seem to really have a hard time setting boundaries is because of our phones and social media just like always being there and our energy always being available through that. Like anyone at any time, if you've got like a public profile or something, can click onto your page, then they're clicking into your energy, right? It might be out of admiration, sure. You might feel fueled by that engagement. That's awesome. And also we know that sometimes people click onto people's profiles like literally to like hate scroll and like they're like judging themselves, and they're scrolling and they're judging you, and there's envy and shame, and there's a lot going on there. And just because it's just on the screen and like you uploaded those pictures and they're looking at it through their phone doesn't mean that it's not rippling into you as well, because it definitely is. And then of course, like if you're really trying to build traction, you might have this like idea that like any attention is like good attention, any publicity is good publicity, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, sure. And also still set your boundaries and just in whatever way feels right for you. And it doesn't have to be with social media. That was just an example. It could be a boundary with consumption of food or certain drinks and beverages, or a boundary with a friend that maybe you overindulge together a lot. Maybe it's like a boundary like gotta hang out with that friend one less day a week, or maybe it's like, hey friend, I'd like to set this boundary so that we're not indulging so much when we're spending time together. Boundaries with everything. And anything. I'm just giving examples at this point. if you have any questions, if you want any specific examples, if you want me to talk about anything specific, let me know in the comments. I'm gonna just talk about what I feel like I need to talk about and what I want to talk about. And also, I'm curious to know like what is wanted for me to talk about. I have this note here in front of me. I like took this in the middle of the night, one night in the dark, months ago. I was like, these are some cool ideas I can make YouTube videos about. So I clipped them to my tripod so that if I'm ever sitting here without anything to say, I've got this little list. I'm gonna just drop some of these ideas. So if you feel like you might want me to make a video about them sooner than later, we've got some options. So the first on the top of the list is, who and what is God to me? Could be pretty controversial. I'm excited to talk about it though. There is another topic called beets, bananas, and butt plugs. I did make a live Instagram live video about that a few months ago. It's up on my like IGTV, but my Instagram is now private, so, and I don't have the app on my phone, so if you like try to follow me so you can watch videos or see my content there, I probably will get on there and approve the follow request, but it will probably be a minute, so don't expect that of me. Instagram is like not my jam. Live interactive YouTube workshops, maybe, or maybe just videos about them. Money mindset and dream weaving. Those are two different topics, but you could definitely bring them together. Manifestation, just things to be aware of if you are wanting to get into manifestation. Things like attachment, surrendering, embodiment. Embodiment is like one of the biggest things. I really am definitely going to just naturally talk about embodiment. Trauma is on here, but I talked a little bit about trauma. We could talk more about trauma. We could talk about the nervous system. We could talk about all kinds of things. What else? Sisterhood. Sisterhood's a really big one. Co-creation versus like competition. There's this thing called like, there's so many wounds in humanity right now, but, and we have been doing a lot of work on healing those wounds. However, there is one called the sisterhood wound, and that basically is just like where most women feel like they're in competition with each other, which like really doesn't feel super great, and we could do so much better if we were just in co-creation with one another instead of competition. So we could talk about that. Yeah, that's what I've got today. My lips are super ridiculously chapped. You could probably see that. It's been going on for like a year, off and on, mostly on. I'm pretty much over it. I've come to the conclusion that there might be just like excessive heat through like studying Ayurveda and everything, that like heat rises and it tends to come up into the head, and you know, there's ways to alleviate that heat or the fire element. And I'm just like really fiery anyways, and I really love spicy food, and I eat a lot of spicy food, and I'm just kind of spicy internally, naturally. So I'm thinking I need to moderate my fire intake. We'll see what that does. My solution that I want to be doing is I want to drink a lot of aloe vera juice. However, I've had a little bit of a challenge finding just like completely organic aloe vera juice that doesn't have like random ingredients in it. So we're still on the hunt for aloe vera juice. Until then, I'll just keep drinking lots of water and putting chapstick on like every 30 minutes. Okay, well, I'm gonna head out now, so love you. Bye.